These are the latter days.
That will be one of many feelings, beautiful feelings you'll have here today. We're now pleased to hear from President Russell M. Nelson, President of the Quorum of the 12 Apostles, and his wife Wendy. At the conclusion of their presentation, we invite you to visit the Expo Hall, attend a class, but we want you to rejoin us here at 2:15 to hear from Sister Sherry Dew, Vice Kahima, and Reno Mahe. President and Sister Nelson, we invite you to the stage and welcome to our home. And we have a big family for you.
Thank you, Elder Foster. Brothers and sisters, Wendy and I are delighted to be with you today. You and I held hands and started with our oldest daughter, Marcia, and her husband, Richard, and they held the hands of their children and grandchildren. Then our daughter Wendy and her husband Norm and their children and grandchildren joined in, and so on. And the spiral grew, linking everyone together. That makes me think about my last word, sealing. That spiraling experience made me think about the sealing ordinances of the temple. I've had the privilege of sealing all of our children and their spouses, and most of our married grandchildren to theirs. I just spelled a name that explains why the family is so important. Elijah.
Wait, I thought Scrabble wouldn't allow proper names. How did you do that?
Well, this Scrabble game allows proper names. I think it knows we need to talk about Elijah. There's great significance in the name Elijah. The name Elijah in Hebrew literally means, my God is Jehovah. Think of it. Embedded in Elijah's names are the Hebrew terms for both the Father and the Son.
Wow, that's really something to think about.
Well, thank you very much for being here, and this is very exciting for me. I know so many people that are in your church and the Latter-day Saints. The job you've done is beyond anything you can think of. In 180 countries, taking care of people the way you take care of people.
You know, if you go out and you want to buy groceries, you need a picture on a card. You need ID.
It is proposed that we release with heartfelt gratitude Sister Linda K. Burton, Carol M. Stevens, and Linda S. Reeves as the Relief Society General Presidency. We likewise extend releases to members of the Relief Society General Board. All who wish to join us in expressing appreciation to these sisters for their remarkable service and devotion, please manifest it. It is proposed that we release Sister Jean B. Bingham as first counselor in the primary general presidency and Sister Bonnie H. Corden as second counselor in the primary general presidency. Those who wish to extend appreciation to these sisters may do so by the uplifted hand. It is proposed that we sustain Jean B. Bingham to serve as Relief Society General President, with Sharon L. Eubank as first counselor and Reina E. Abuto as second counselor. It is further proposed that we sustain Bonnie H. Corden to now serve as first counselor in the primary general presidency and Christina B. Franco to serve as second counselor in the primary general presidency. All in favor, please manifest it. Any opposed may so indicate.
This is the General Women's Session of the 187th Semi-Annual General Conference of The Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. Featured speakers will be from the First Presidency and the General Women's Organizations of the Church. Music for this session will be provided by a choir of Relief Society sisters from stakes in the Park City, Utah area. Women, young women, and girls 8 years of age and above are gathered together throughout the world to receive counsel and instruction from church leaders. Sister Jean B. Bingham, Relief Society General President, will conduct this session.
We love you, sisters. We welcome each one of you warmly to the General Women's Session of the 187th Semi-Annual General Conference of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints.
Senator Brown, I'd like to.
Senator Brown.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. A dozen years ago, when you did the tax holiday here, all the corporations had all this money, and of course they were going to be eager to give it out to work. Well, actually, they didn't give it out to workers. They did stock buybacks. They did executive compensation. They paid out in dividends. Right. Then somebody cited Britain. Great Britain has done a series of tax cuts and their wages were flat too. So this is really wishful thinking, but I do know that the TV ads that are going to be run against the 5 most important senators on this committee, the TV ads that the independent groups will run, will of course say, Senator McCaskill and Senator Casey and Senator Stabenow and Senator Nelson are voting against a $4,000 raise that this tax cut is going to bestow on them. We know it's coming. We know you'll have way more money to promote that than we will have to defend it, but that's why the Wyden Amendment is so important. And I just think it would be nice just tonight, before we go home, to just acknowledge, well, this tax cut really is not for the middle class, it's for the rich. And that whole thing about higher wages, well, it's a good selling point, but we know companies don't just give away higher wages. They just don't give away higher wages just because they have more money. Corporations are sitting on a lot of money now. They're sitting on a lot of profits now. I don't see wages going up. So just spare us the bank shots, spare us the sarcasm and the satire, and let's move.
I'm going to spare it, but I'm going to just say to you that I come from the poor people. And I've been here working my whole stinking career for people who don't have a chance. And I really resent anybody saying that I'm just doing this for the rich. Give me a break. I think you guys overplay that all the time, and it gets old. And frankly, you ought to quit it.
Mr. Chairman, the public
wait a minute,
believes it.
I'm not through.
Okay.
I get kind of sick and tired of it. True, it's a nice political play.
Well, Mr.
But
Chairman,
it's not true.
with all due respect, I get sick and tired of the richest people
Regular
in
order,
this country
Mr. Chairman.
getting richer and
Regular
richer
order.
and richer.
Order.
And middle, we do a tax
Regular
cut for
order.
the rich and the middle class
Wait a
shrinks
minute,
Regular
over
order.
and over and over
Wait
again.
just
How
a
many
second.
times do we do this before we learn this, Mr. Chairman?
Listen, I've honored you by allowing you to spout off here. And what you said was not right. That's all I'm saying. I come from the lower middle class originally. We didn't have anything. So don't spew that stuff on me. I get a little tired of that crap. And let me just say something. If we worked together, we could pull this country out of every mess it's in. And we could do a lot of the things that you're talking about, too. And I think I've got a reputation of having worked together with Democrats.
Let's start with Chip.
Not starting with Chip. I did it. I've done it for years. I've got more bills.
Start with Chip today.
I got more bills passed than everybody on this committee put together. And they've been passed for the benefit of people in this country. Now, all I can say is I like you personally very much, but I'm telling you, this bull crap that you guys throw out here really gets old after a while. To do it right at the end of this was just not right.
And a major city yet to be determined in Russia.
Through federal filings, we confirmed the numbers on 12 funds, each with more than one web domain owned by the LDS Church. The funds control about $31.9 billion in investments.
The Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints and its investment arm will pay a fine totaling $5 million for failing to disclose investment holdings. The Securities and Exchange Commission announced the settlement today. Fox 13 News investigative reporter Nate Carlisle has been following the investigation into church finances.
These charges from the SEC accuse the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints and its leaders of spending years hiding investments from the public. That includes stocks purchased with tithing.
It's difficult to defend the church's conduct here, that they are not above the eyes of the law.
Jeff Schwartz teaches securities law at the University of Utah. He can't find another example of investors hiding portfolios for 20 plus years.
And it's also important for the general public to understand who owns America's largest companies, who are the biggest shareholders behind Apple, AT&T, Microsoft.
The SEC says the obfuscation began in 1997 when the church created Ensign Peak Advisors to manage $7 billion. By 2018, the last year the church was unforthcoming, the portfolio grew to $32 billion. Ensign Peak had 13 shell companies to keep the assets.
Travis Wingitzel, the latest version of cyber terrorism has taken effect. Is it Cozy Bear, now that they've been freed from their bondage of Biden? Is it China? Because it's acting just like China does to their people. Oh, sorry, you're criticizing the church. Your social credit rating has dropped. You only have 2 minutes to access the internet. Use it wisely. Maybe you can increase your social credit rating. Let China prevail. Criminal. Yep. As long as it's just me that's being affected by this, nobody else will know, and therefore nobody else will complain, and therefore they'll be able to continue to do it to me. But unless other people are likewise starting to feel the effects of this cyber terrorism, nobody will ever know or believe me, even if I put the pictures for you. Already 3 times today. Oh, we're noticing some unusual behavior on the internet. You're looking up Bible passages and signs in the heavens. This is unusual. If they want me to watch porn, sure, fine. But tell me. Maybe link me to some places I can go to that's approved. I mean, dear God. Come on. Is that the best the church has to prove they're true? We'll show you, Travis. We'll show you. We're true. You need to accept it. 2017 is the calendar year we're finally getting to today. And it's a doozy because it's the start of the latter days. And so, yeah, there's a lot to cover. All Jewish prophets prophesied of this day and hour, this time, this year. This was the biggest year for the Jews, and they don't even know about it. And so we start off with February 10th, 2017. Now, both the true Christ and the false prophet both participated in Family Discovery Day. That's right, that's what I was going to look for. The 17th of December. Panama. I should also look for the bigger one on that day too. I got the moons. That was the unusual. Well, that's on my computer. They need to back off on my computer. Sorry, you're using this app too much. You can't use that app anymore. Oh, God. I'm talking total chaos. Yeah, I do have that. But yeah, the 10th I don't have. I did the other version. Panama. You know, just with the... Because it's fascinating, this astronomy thing. And so, yeah, there was a sign in the heavens, a penumbral lunar eclipse. And it's there at the mouth of Leo the Lion, which is fascinating when you see the bigger picture of the latter days and the learning of the Jews. The lion hath roared, who can but prophesy? Surely the Lord God will do nothing, save he shall revealeth his secrets unto his servants the prophets. Incorrectly translated, but at least the commentaries get it correct. Aten of Yahweh, servants of the prophets, deliver the message of the prophets to the people. But nonetheless, warning voice. And so I was out there in Elko, Nevada for Family Discovery Day for book signing, and they chose not to communicate fully with me, the people who invited me, who pretended to be my friend. I was being treated more like the mentally retarded kid who gets to participate. That's how I was made to feel. But nonetheless, I had to do some readjustment and didn't have the money for the readjustment. And then, instead of paying, I was told to just give everything away. What's the point of a book signing if I have to give everything away? You know, I had the little stuff to give away, but, you know, it's just, people had just been damaged by the flood, so they were in no position to pay for anything. So really the only guy who paid for anything was one of the speakers who did talk on DNA and bragged that he was a descendant of the Aten priesthood of the 18th dynasty. Wrong priesthood. That's the Aaronic, not the Melchizedek of Ammon. That's me. You're the lesser priesthood. I'm the greater priesthood. So, yeah, Revelation chapter 12, verses 15 and 16. So I might as well have it up on the screen. Didn't do that. I was focusing on Elijah that Nelson botched, making a rookie error. The guy just sucks at translation over and over again. But at least Elijah, I can give him a pass because that is the biblical Hebrew version. But he has no clue about the biblical Hebrew text that Joseph Smith said is wrong. We'll get to it. We'll get to it. And the serpent cast out of his mouth water as a flood after the woman, that he might cause her to be carried away of the flood. Now the woman is the church, as Joseph Smith's translation tells us. So the Mormon church is involved here. So the serpent is the devil. Baby name meaning. Right, Nelson? And so, yeah, what happened was Elko, Nevada had a dam that burst and flooded the whole area there. I got the pictures. We'll put them in. And so here I was going with that couple pretending to be a friend with the then wife at the time, taking us into the storm, right into the flood. And so, yeah, it was quite an experience. Memories on the corner of my mind. And so the earth helped the woman. And the earth opened her mouth and swallowed up the flood, which the dragon cast out of his mouth. And so, yeah, I survived. And prophecy fulfillment ensued. So I do need to get the bigger Urim and Thummim capture. 10 February. Pick. So that you can see the bigger picture and see Jupiter and see Mars. Mars is there with Venus for a reason. It's a W prophecy, not a W of Z, alphabet of Canada, which comes from the French. But a double prophecy in that Nelson was there with his wife, but also with the church. The president of the 12, Mars, with the church. The wife of Mars, or the wife of Mars, and thus the inverted pentagram, whereas Jupiter is your Christ. And so this is where he botched Elijah, and I get an opportunity to put the corrected picture on Yah that I did the other day, because nobody saw the typing error, right? There was one person who did and thought that was funny. I know who you are. You'll never know now because I've corrected it. And we'll put it in because I did an Elijah one for you today too. And so he's claiming that Elijah has the I vowel in it before Jah. But again, it's not Jah. That's where the error is in biblical Hebrew. It is not in the Vulgate. It is not in the Septuagint. Both the Vulgate and the Septuagint would be better pronounced as El Yah. Okay? Which means the God Yah. Not my God is Yah, which is the rookie mistake that Nelson made. But everybody teaches that, because they don't teach Septuagint and Vulgate for it. Only the biblical Hebrew for that one. They pick and choose which book they want to use. But it's interesting that the biblical Hebrew combines it all together as one word. Whereas in the Isaiah passage about Emmanuel, El is separated as a separate word for God, as I've already gone over with you in numerous videos. Whereas it's one word in both the Vulgate and the Septuagint. And that's where that confusion comes from. But if there are going to be gospels, then they are tales of gods. God tale, gospel. But Christians changed the definition of gospel to good news, which is not gospel, but is more of a message, Malachi. Angel. You're my angel, miracle, messenger, not space person from another dimension. Nevertheless. And so, the story of Elijah was written by a Jew in 1 Kings chapter 17 is where it starts for his story. And in his story, not only did he part the waters to pass through on dry ground, which means he's the man like Moses from Deuteronomy 18 verse 15, the law of the Jews, about their Jewish Christ who is to come into a future time period with the days and the hours there apparent. And so you also get last year's fulfillment of Elijah, versus the priests of Baal. Is Jesus still taking a piss? Man, that's an awful long bathroom break. Where is Jesus? Come on, Nelson. I did my part. Poured water all over the altar of Utah. Then cast my lightning bolt on the altar and lit it up. Where's your Jesus to perform his miracles? I mean, dear God. What does it take for Mormons to finally believe when they aren't going to believe the Book of Mormon is Jewish, let alone the Bible? I mean, my God. Talk about dense. And so, yes, I'm Jupiter. Yah, Peter, which is Yah the seer from Egyptian, which comes from Zeus. Cut off the us, and it's Yah, but it's Zah in Greek. But the pictorial match is uncanny with Paleo-Hebrew, and thus the Hebrew god Yah is Zeus. They're all the same deity. And so El Yah is no different than Zeus or Yah Peter. Jupiter. All the same being. And so, as I've told you also, which is on the chart, Ishmael is to be correctly translated as the name Yah is sun god. And so in this year you see the start of the sun god, not just Jupiter being born. Because in the Joseph Smith translation, Revelation chapter 12 verse 1, Joseph is being told by Daddy, now Joseph, we do know the days and the hours. You kind of messed up not correcting Matthew on that one. And in that one Doctrine and Covenants passage. And so, yes, Joseph is getting educated by Daddy that signs in the heavens giving you the days and hours are in the likeness of the prophesied future events on earth. And so the heavens are given anthropomorphisms with animals, objects, and humans, in order to tell Scripture stories. And so thus each of the characters are assigned a celestial body, and a story will ensue. But in Revelation, he does something different for you. Here he says, a woman clothed with the sun, and the moon under her feet, and upon her feet a crown of 12 stars. He's merging the two together, story form with actual astronomy. To make it very clear how Scripture stories are written. And then she's pregnant, pain to be delivered, and you got to include verse 5, which the senior knew correctly by letting junior know we do know this date. We need to move verse 5 to verse 3. And she gave birth. God and his throne is your big clue. And so, if we were to go to, we actually could have gone to Matthew first, because Matthew talks about it. So here's the Isaiah. He quotes Isaiah, doesn't name Isaiah, and says, behold, a virgin shall be with child, and shall bring forth a son, and they shall call his name Emmanuel, Sun God, at noonday. Of the ancient Egyptians of the 18th dynasty, David-Moses dynasty. That's why he's a descendant of King David. That's why he's the man like Moses. 18th dynasty is what they're all talking about. And so then you see in verse 1 of chapter 2, now the birth, which we know is the 23rd of September 2017. I should have gone over those first before we did this. Emmanuel, because this is Yah-Shua. Yah is sun God. Shua is salvation. And so we get the translation according to Nelson. For he shall let people sin. We ignore save, even though that's the word in the name. And we use the last word of the sentence for the meaning. That's what he did to Israel. Don't blame me. Dear God. Let God prevail. Oh my hell. It's Yah, Prince of God. He now is the descendant race for the Christ of the Jews in story form. And it was real simple, basic Hebrew knowledge. And the president, Mars, botched it. Dear God. And so, Bethlehem, I've done that. Did the picture for you, showed I'm a translator of Paleo-Hebrew and Egyptian. Nobody believes, wants to accept what it means. Of Utah, right there, verse 1, chapter 2. How did Mormons all miss this? It's right there, Utah. He starts his ministry the 23rd of September 2017 in Utah. But in the days of Herod. Now this is where you need to refer back to Isaiah. First we need to give you the rest of the dates before we move on. verses 1, 2, and 5, 23rd September 2017. Verse 3, 17th December 2017, the 5th dark day of Hanukkah, thus dragon. 4, next year. Right, Monson? But we can talk about it because of the 21st of August 2017, in which Monson dies on the 2nd of January 2018, which still is a part of the religious calendar New Year, as well as the civil calendar New Year for the Jews. But we're cheating by using our Gregorian botched calendar of Pope Gregory, who was illiterate apparently. Septem, Octem, Novem, Decem. Okay, we'll make it the 9th, 10th, 11th, and 12th months. Pope? Off with your head! Nobody dares to molest or make me afraid. Hilarious. And so 15 and 16, 10th of February 2017. Very plain, pure, and precious. Plain, pure, and precious. And so Joseph Smith translation tells us the woman is the church. Therefore, the child is to become the leader of the church for the millennium. He's Messiah ben David, Emmanuel, the man like Moses. The one mighty and strong, if you're a Mormon. I don't understand what you're talking about. Jews? What? Don't they believe in Jesus? Didn't they prophesy of Jesus? Of Christianity? Oh, God. I mean, seriously. I mean, it's difficult to tell if Mormons are just being stupid because of the brainwashing, or if they are white supremacist, Christian, nationalist, racist bigots. And it's a little of both because of the brainwashing. Dear God. And then Mormons just get upset when you tell them they're stupid or haters. And it is not a walkway. It is rocks with trees. You can't get through. There's a fenced off area. That's supposed to be fenced off too, to keep people out. The hell? Anyway. Memories on the stressing of my mind. So yeah, you see Lamb in here also. He brings up Lamb for 8 April 2024. Still got 7 more years for that one. And so it's important to know that, because that also ties into Monson and his birthday, which, oh my God, this is just incredible how awesome these Jews were, and Joseph Smith Sr. for knowing all this. Okay, so now let's go back to Isaiah for his version of this same day and hour prophecy. And chapter 7, you can start with 14, but then you'll miss the God on his throne part, which is Herod in Matthew chapter 2's version of this. Okay? Because this has to do with the solar eclipse. So in chapter 6 of Isaiah, verse 1, in the year that King Uzziah died. Solar eclipse. Sign in the heaven in the likeness of things on the earth. There likely was, whether it's in conjunction with his death, I don't know. I'd have to check. But it's complicated because there are some people who don't know astronomy very well and have difficulty translating as well, and you get the two not very wells together, and it gets a great not well to botch it all up. But nonetheless, that's what it's referring to as the sign in the heavens. But Isaiah is speaking of a future time, but using historical context. King Uzziah is legitimate. We do have historical documents outside of the Bible for King Uzziah. Right? Uzziah. Notice the spelling? Aya? Yah. Exactly. Yah, Uz. Let's see. Scripture records. No, that's not what I asked. I notice there's no AI for this. List of biblical figures identified in extra biblical sources under Wikipedia. Let's check you out. It looks like it's prominent humanist bookseller, printers of the... No, that's not a legitimate... No! Stop it! No! 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 And so, yeah, he's the one mighty and strong. Use is a version of strength, and again, biblical, there is no I for the my strength is Yah. It's the strength of Yah. Yah is strong, the one mighty and strong. I have to fix everything. I did not grow up to have to fix everything. I grew up demanding other people did all the work for me so that I could be lazy. Ooh, an earthquake in his days. Oh, Mormons. Ooh, alert, 2020. There was an earthquake. Amazing, isn't it? Mm-hmm. Is it gonna repeat? Inquiring minds have no clue. A major earthquake is referenced in Amos. 2 years before the earthquake, when Uzziah was king of Utah, hilarious, fascinating. Geologists believe they've found it. Dear God. The calendars. No, that is not a correct source. Some writers object to the use of co-regencies. Why? They had them. Oh my God. And that's where Egyptologists get screwed up on dating the kings of Egypt and the dynasties. It's because some want co-regencies and others don't. Oh, my hell. That's That's what they're arguing over, is co-regencies all through that. That was a waste of my time other than for the earthquake. Extra biblical earthquake. No, you don't prove his existence with an earthquake. Oh, dear God, you might as well be a Mormon apologist. My hell. Oh, we found metal plates of writing in Saudi Arabia during the Middle Ages. It means the Book of Mormon is true. We found out how to make plates. You tamp down a thin metal plate, and then you put wax all over it, and then you make your engravings in the wax. And then you put acid over it, and it melts away the wax and leaves the impression of the Book of Mormon is true. I'm not finding his existence. Who is the oldest confirmed king of Judah? No. Dear God. Why is AI so stupid? Why? Musk said it was going to be more intelligent than... Oh, well, I guess that's not a high bar. Oh my God. Was King Uzziah real? They're all using the Bible to justify it. Unbelievable. So I'm going to have to say no, he is not legitimate. So Uzziah also is not found in extra biblical sources as legitimate. Okay? So yeah, all of this is fake. It's all a fraud. They used a rock and a hat to try to make money. Well, yeah, if I can't confirm him through other sources, ain't happening. So find me the archaeology. So he's dead. So it's giving you the 21st of August 2017. The one mighty and strong. Sun god at noonday. Emmanuel. This is his sign. Notice it's the Jewish star with a circle around it, the universal symbol of the sun, with the moon standing in the middle, like an angel. Messenger. Chapter 19 of Revelation for the 8 April 2024 sign. The death sign. Because that one is an actual death sign in Revelation, whereas the birth sign is not a death sign. It's not an eclipse. That's why. And so he sees the Lord sitting upon a throne. Train filling the temple. Okay? That is God sitting upon his throne. From Revelation. That is Herod in Matthew. It is Pharaoh in Exodus. It is the false prophet also in Deuteronomy 18 verse 20, corresponding with section 85 verse 8. Lightning, notice, vivid shaft of Jupiter, lightning, Yah Peter. Peter is seer in Egyptian. Yah the seer, seer Yah. The name of Yah is sun god. All of this has to do with each other. So, fascinating. The one mighty and strong Yah. El Yah. El Yah. God Yah. Alrighty. And so he's telling a story as if it's literal history. And I can't confirm it as literal history. And so all of the kings, up until the one guy who does exist, and I can't remember which one it is now. I thought it was around 700, but could be closer to 600 now. Because you got to be able to confirm through archaeology the existence of both the northern Israel kings and Judah's kings. This one is of Judah. And so yes, Utah, Judea. Notice they're the same. And, lest we forget, the Book of Mormon. See how it's done here in the Book of Mormon. In the first year of the reign of Zedekiah, king of Utah. First year. What year? 2017. Because 8 through 10 is Revelation chapter 12, verses 1, 2, and 5. Move to verse 3 in the Joseph Smith translation. 23rd September 2017. And in the first year, the death of the king and the transfer to the new king, who is from Russia. I found the P-tape. And I noticed some fascinating stuff in that picture of the P-tape. That there indeed was the temple, a major city yet to be determined, from Russia with love. And Constantine's sign for 8 April 2024. He was from the crossroads of the sun god Wagoneer at noonday. The god symbol is the rho from Egyptian, and then the X for crossroads from Egyptian, in a foreign land, so thus it's not Jerusalem or Egypt. And it gives you the name, it gives you the date, it gives you the location on earth, and it gives you where in the heavens it was found, on the back of the white horse. Revelation 19, remember? What we're doing 2017. And so this verse 4 is also giving you the 21st of August 2017, not just Trump taking over from Obama. Obama is the dead president and is replaced by Babylon with Zedekiah. Which is Russia, because that's when the eclipse occurred, 600 years from the time Lehi left Jerusalem. Hilarious. They knew the plot, and they told us. Okay, all right here in the first chapter of the rewritten 116 pages. Thanks to Martin Harris for stealing it. And so it had to be rewritten. And this is what it was rewritten for. And so yes, even though it's a story form, because of the ties to the learning of the Jews, not Christian literal history chronological order, we now know its connection to the other scriptures. And so verse 4, 21st of August 2017, Monson's birthday. The ancient Egyptian religious calendar New Year. Remember those books? So I need to pull that one out, or find that one too. 2017. Egyptian calendar pick. See, fully loaded. Everybody was talking about this year. And so the 23rd of September 2017 in verses 8 through 10. So when Nephi then has his tree of life vision, he then has that and he puts it in a story form as well. An actual woman with the baby, Emmanuel. 23rd September 2017, but it's also a dualism because of his actual birth, which I gave you back on the 7th, which is on the 17th. Alrighty. So, now we got to talk about Samson once we get to the solar eclipse. What else do we have to say about the lunar eclipse? Because we still got to get the bigger picture. But yeah, we did the moon is at the mouth. And so, as per every year, there is a solar eclipse. Well, not every year. I should qualify that. There are some exceptions that occur. No, that would be a longer tail. And there's some that have multiple rather than just twos. Alright, so I need the solar one now. Seriously? No, that's lunar. There we go. Okay, the 26th of February had the solar eclipse down south of the border at the bottom of Argentina and the lower half of Africa, just on the border of South Africa, in that area. It's probably the Dominican Republic of Congo, where the church tried to coup and failed. And Mormons got sentenced to death. I do not forget. And the church tried to bribe Congo also to let them go. And it failed. See, Idaho Chick had the correct understanding on that news story. She caught it. Let's read it. Let's go over it with them, shall we, Idaho Chick? I think it's this one. Yep. Stanford was also talking about stuff on that too. And it's Microsoft. And so, holy smokes, the church is getting sloppy with their excitement to be in the spotlight for meeting with presidents and important leaders of several countries. Because they're trying to claim the Isaiah 2, I think it's Isaiah 2. All nations shall come to Zion and bow the knee and tongue confess and pay tithes. Isn't that what it says? I'm sure that's what they say it says. Yeah. The word of Isaiah, the son of Amos, said concerning Utah and New Jerusalem, and it shall come to pass in the last days that the mountain of the Lord's house, shall be established in Utah, and shall be exalted above the hills, and all nations shall flow unto it. No, that's New Jerusalem. The mountain cities of the Lord is going to be literal. I've got the blueprints. We just need to get to Zion. But we need the church to fall, transfer the authority, like one king to another. God sitting upon his throne. And then we can call out Section 133 to get you to Zion. As Trump has paid the way after taking it away. The Gold Guard, getting Mormons to Zion. And shall be exalted above the hills, all nations flow. Many people shall go and say, Come ye, let us go to the mountain of the Lord. Go up to the mountain of the Lord, to the house of God of Jacob, the usurper, and he will teach us of his ways, and we will walk in his paths, for out of Zion shall go forth the law and the word of the Lord from Jerusalem. And it's the God Yah. I don't know why Jews couldn't figure that one out. Dear God. Nobody knows. They're guessing the best translation is new Salem. Because originally the land was called Salem, just Salem. And so eventually it got called Jerusalem, and nobody can figure out why. And I don't understand it. I walked right into it. Oh, yeah, the God Yah. The God Yah of Salem. Hello? Easy. And so, yeah, that's, you can create a whole bunch of stuff if you use other interpretations than the learning of the Jews. Let's see. In several countries, and making mention of giving contributions and documenting it with photos. It's like the mob boss being in all the crime photos. That's Trump. He does this. But insisting he doesn't know the people in the photos. That's Trump. And all the crimes committed, he has no clue about. That's Trump. Too many times we have seen the handshakes of LDS giving funds, then the people receiving getting into financial or criminal trouble very quickly. Yep. I've done the church news videos. I've seen this pattern. When the church goes in, soon thereafter, there's a coup. Oh my God. Church can't always claim they have no idea what's going on. Yet they can't at all. They've come out and said, we are not living in a bubble. We know everything that's going on. We're the deciders. Okay, guess what that means? You're confessing. And so, got POVs for you of the moon and the sun. And so this is fascinating for the eclipses for 2017. The lunar was in Leo the Lion, the first one, on the 10th of February. Then on the 21st of August, it's the solar eclipse in Leo the Lion at the star Regulus, right there around the necklace, which that in and of itself is impressive. But the eclipses for the other side are just as fascinating in conjunction. They're in Aquarius, the high priest symbol of the ancient Egyptians. The water pouring over the head of the high priest. So the solar eclipse on the 26th of February is right there at the thigh for the covenant. It's coming. So I can take you to scripture on covenants and the importance of it. It's in the Book of Mormon even. 2 Nephi chapter 3 verse 5. Joseph Smith is to be remembered in the covenants of the Lord, that the Messiah should be made manifest unto Mormons in the latter days. As a Mormon in Utah on the 23rd of September 2017. There it is. The sign in the heaven in the likeness of things on the earth. Fulfilled, Mormons. We don't like you, Travis. We want it differently. We want the church to be true. Okay? So interesting, as I did my not chronological, well, it's sort of chronological. I went through the Book of Mormon and put where they moved in the different places that are named and their location from each other. And so clearly the Book of Mormon has you start at the lower end and then work your way up as they migrated north. And I came to realize as I was doing it, this looks a lot like South America. Wouldn't you know it, that's where the solar eclipse in 2017 is. Fascinating. Also remember, Freemasons know all about this stuff too, because Senior was the master Mason who had to rewrite the 116 pages. And so thus, this has all got Freemasonry stuff throughout all of it, but toned down so it's not easily recognizable by superstitious Martin Harris, who stole it in the first place. And so you see more Jewish Kabbalah as a result. But still, Freemasons were the ones who translated the King James Version for King James for the 1611 edition. I'm still very curious about, because I've fulfilled it already, Exodus 3 verse 14 for March, 3rd month, 14 day, the lunar eclipse. Lunar eclipse. All right, and so what is fascinating, because now we get to the lunar eclipse for August 7th. This was the one that I had to check on that I told you about before. So I did, and oh my God, there's like all sorts of falling stars. 5 falling stars for the inverted pentagram of Lucifer. Baby name meaning Russell Marion. All in the high priest of Aquarius. As this time the moon is technically in the goat beast belly. And so it's not there for 3 days and longer than 3 hours, but quite interesting. Jonah and the whale, hello. Yawn, the dove. So, there's the pav of that. So awesome. Used actual satellite footage for the coverage here, in the Stellarium program. All right, and then 21st of August. All right, because So this one we go to Samson for. I've already told you the other stuff. New Year of the ancient Egyptian religious calendar, New Year. Samson is the sun king. Yah is the name sun god, because he's the creation glyph of the Egyptians, Heliopolis creation glyph. He's the reason for the separation of the waters from the waters, and the dry land appears, and then the sun god at noonday is there in the firmament. Genesis chapter 1. So the book of Judges, a different spelling of Judges, not Danites, but he's a Danite. Why didn't you name it Danites? Seriously, come on, Jews. So yeah, there was a certain man of Zorah, of the family of the Danites. Hello, Mormons, are you listening? Everything testifies that the Christ is a Mormon. Everything. I mean, you seriously don't believe the scriptures if you don't accept this. You're making up your own interpretation, and it's obviously wrong if you don't accept the learning of the Jews. You are rejecting Joseph Smith. You are rejecting the Book of Mormon as a Mormon. Unbelievable. Whose name was Manoah. Noah. Yes, the spelling of Noah. Remember Matthew in 24 says, as in the days of Manoah, so shall it be in the latter days. Not a coincidence. These Jews are highly intelligent. You don't want to mess with their interpretation. So the M is the suffix determinative for high priest. The wavy water with the J stroke of a human from Egyptian. High priest, Aquarius. Just fascinating. Fascinating. And so thus the flood of Revelation for the high priest. Aquarius. Not a coinkydink. Even though that was technically the lion one, but then the high priest was a solar eclipse. Because this is the Sun King. And so the solar eclipse occurred in the Aquarius symbol of Manoah. There you have it, right there. Verse 2 of Judges chapter 13. 26th of February, 2017. Amazing. And so then you get to the child, and the wife is barren. She says, give me a child, and I'll donate him to the temple. And sure enough, same pattern of things. All that. But, yeah, she promises to make him a certain special thing like a Nazarite in the Jesus story. Let's see. And then you have Malachi, an angel of the Lord, coming to him to tell him, you shall name him Emmanuel. They're just telling a different story of the same stuff, same prophecies. Just awesome. And so, verse 5 in chapter 14. Then went Samson down, and his father and his mother, to Timnath, and came to the vineyards of Timnath. And this is in the context of going to barter for a wife of the Philistines, the uncircumcised Philistines. That refers to not having authority. It's kind of a Jewish humor here. Great and abominable church. Because women may not understand this about circumcision, as they always tend to complain about it, make men try to feel guilty and ashamed. But no, it's not just health reasons that you want to do this, but it's also symbolic that a human baby male is to become the Messiah of the Jews. And so Mormons, since Joseph Smith is Messiah ben Joseph, that's why Joseph Smith set up the temple rituals so that men can be endowed, and gave women the priesthood and priesthood office, so that when couples are married, they give birth to the future Christ who would save Mormons from the great and abominable church. That's why the Jews are writing this way. And so the circumcision is to part the waters and the dry land appears. The crown. That's why it's called a crown. An obelisk. Yes, phallic symbol. Wow, women, you're so smart. Yes, indeed. King Triton, his kingdom was built with phallic symbols. And housewives across America were offended. Part of my world. I tried looking at Aladdin, the cartoon version with the scandal. All good boys take off their clothes. I can't find it. I must have had the edited version. The Scandals of Disney. We could do that one, the Family Guy one. Pie. Maybe. Pie. Family Guy. Okay. So again, his wife is of the great and abominable church. Now, the fulfillment of this is weird. Because, yes, indeed, he did get 2 wives. But the second wife, Delilah, was the one that corresponded with the wedding supper feast of the lion at the Lion House next to the Beehive House of the Philistine temple, with the inverted pentagram on the keystone of the doors where the wedding pictures were taken. But that was back in 2015. And so this is talking about the sign in the heavens in this particular case, even though the prophecy occurred 2 years later, which was what I just read about Uzziah and the earthquake 2 years previous. Yes. Interesting. Just occurred to me. Fascinating. So yeah, the second woman. But the first woman did do what she did with her father, which is weird. And it involves the dream I had in the summer I was 16 in '86. That's the one where I'm in a classroom. The time turns 2:13, something like that. Bell rings to end the class. I take my backpack, head out of the class, as some kids were talking with me before the bell rang about, what are you going to do? I don't remember. And so I head out, catch a school bus, and on the school bus we're driving along a single road. And on either side of the road is what I would learn to find out was canola fields of Alberta. I had no idea what the plant was. And eventually we got to a building at the end of the road, and I didn't know this was the case in Alberta because of the law passed in Lethbridge when Mormons first arrived. They banned Mormons from so many kilometers away from Lethbridge, and that's why you've got all of these pocket cities around Lethbridge of Mormon founding settlements, is because Lethbridge refused to have Mormons in their town. And so eventually roads would tie all of these pocket cities together as the cities began to expand and grow as well. And I didn't know that as a kid. I'd never been to Alberta, had no reason to go to Alberta. We had family only as far up as Idaho. That's it. That's all. And so I had no idea what canola was and all that stuff. And so that's how I learned what the dream was, that it was a prophecy dream that I was getting at 16 years of age, having just become a priest. With the keys of the ministering of angels, messengers, and dreams. Amazing how that works. And so I check in, they assign me a room, I go to put my luggage now in the room. And down the hall, there was a woman who had just put her stuff away in her room and saw me and came over and said, let's get out of this place and go through the back door. And I'm going, oh, I don't know if we should, we might get in trouble. We went through the back door. And then we took one of the cars that were sitting there. It was an electric car, before electric cars were invented. And I went driving through a tunnel system. It was really cool. And at the end of the tunnel system, there was a building. I went and parked, and we got out and went up the stairs into the door, and there was a long hall, and at the end of the hall there was a door, and on the sides there were rooms. And as we walked by the rooms, there were classes, and teachers were teaching in the classes. And so I end up walking in the open doors of the classes, and the teacher got upset with me as I just walk in front of the class and walk right back out, ignoring the teacher. When we get to the end of the hall, we open the door, and it's a chapel, Mormon chapel, with the benches, the 3 sets of benches, 2 on either side and the one bigger one in the middle. And it sloped downward, similar to the BYU's, where I was going to EFY each year in the summertime Well, my parents would continue on up to do genealogy with the old folks of the family. And they didn't want me around anyway. It was a way to get rid of me for a period of time, for a week. Oh, did we forget our son Travis? Oh, oops. Oh well, yeah, we'll come get you next year. So no junior year at the North Crown High School. Then we go to Rick's, North Crown of the BYUs, which was not a BYU then. It's gone, destroyed, and then went to Lethbridge in the Northern Crown of America. See the pattern repeating? Because that's the prophecy that Moses was taught at the northern Heliopolis city, not Karnak. That's the prophecy. But anyway, Samson, Sun King, because the N at the end is a suffix determinative, not a prefix determinative like Manoah. I did say prefix, right? If it's at the beginning, it's a prefix. If it's at the end, it's a suffix, obviously. How could I botch that one? And so Shemesh is son in Hebrew. The N at the end is suffix determinative for the crown with the little cobra thing and a J stroke in linear script for Paleo-Hebrew. And so if it's a place, it would be kingdom rather than king. But in this case, it's a name, so it's king. Sun King. See how easy translation is? How could Nelson botch that? Oh, he didn't even bother to care to try. Okay. 21st of August, 2017. Wedding supper feast of the Lamb. And so, sure enough, in the context, you have the solar eclipse of February 26th with Manoah. Now you have the 21st of August 2017 solar eclipse, because all deaths are associated with signs in the solar eclipses in the heavens, or deaths on earth, likeness of things on the earth. And so the transfer of authority, the dynasty, the king, gone, and a new one takes his place. And so when on November 4th, 2016, Friday, at the end of the hour, the 9 o'clock hour, to start the morning shows or whatever they do on Fox 13 News Utah. I turn it off after that, because I was waiting to see this announcement. They lured me to watch the whole show until the end when they finally covered it, of the solar eclipse on the 21st of August 2017. I knew exactly what it meant. This was my education. This is what I'm trained, experienced, published to do and know. And sure enough, all hell broke loose. Because in July, that's when I did my #1 video of all time, because it panicked the church. They already knew who I am. They already knew who I am, because I came to them in 1998 with my Paleo-Hebrew decipherment. Joseph Smith is true. Isn't this awesome? Church is true, right? What do you mean? Who did I tell? What do you mean you're wanting to find out if I should be excommunicated? Came from Hinckley? What? He didn't even know about this. It was only Michael Watson. who usurped his authority. Well, I'm going to go straight to downtown and talk to Hinckley myself and find out what's going on. And he never did come back to me on that. It was the first counselor, who I just happened to be there for another reason. And he was in the office. And he says, "Oh, yeah, well, you can do whatever you want, but don't go against the church." Bleep you all. You betrayers, you Danites. And so, yeah. And so the Samson thing would be her, and yeah, this was when she abandoned me. Betrayed me to the Philistines. She cut my hair. Just exactly according to prophecy. So calling her Delilah, she didn't quite make the connection. I did. I knew exactly what was going on, and I was living it in real time, fulfilling it in real time. I was just astounded, just blowing my mind, because there was no way I could fulfill this on my own. It was not until we decided to get married in 2015 that her sister offered to take us to the Lion House for our wedding supper feast. It was the temple who assigned us room number 13. They even asked us, "Is it okay?" Because lots of people are superstitious about the number 13. No, that's been my favorite number since I turned 13. In fact, the first wedding was on Friday the 13th. For which that was an utter failure. Because I deciphered Paleo-Hebrew. But she was trying to get rid of me before that. That was just an excuse for her. As she was 4 and he was 2, and you know they adore you. Stupid Dixie chicks from Magna. I can't listen to that song anymore. I break down. Just like I did on the freeway. Had to pull over. The hell, Dixie chicks. Confederates. Danites. And so, yeah, hilarity did ensue on that one. So yeah, this is just, it's just awe-inspiring here to go through this and go, oh my God, that happened. Oh my God, that's how that happened. Oh man. Yep, because when we get to 2023, hi Todd, and Fox News, they make an appearance. It's awesome. Just awesome. So, yep. Riddle me this. He's giving them the date. That's the riddle. But in story form. 21st of August, 2017. That's the answer to his riddle. Alrighty. And so, yeah, the sign for that, which we do need to have that brought up for you, because both Trump and Nelson were a part of that. Just awesome how awesome these Jews are. Just brilliant minds. Just incredible. And so, yeah, I hadn't found the receipt yet. The church didn't do a public photo shoot of that one until I found it on the internet. So Google's a little late trying to control my internet usage. Let's see, where are you? Seriously? April, we need 21st. 21st of August. Seriously? Where are you? There you are. And so this would be day one. Actually, I can keep going to that one, because that's the one I put in the calendar picture for you guys. See, it's a conjunction with Mercury, which is Trump, also a messenger, putting out the call to Mormons about Mars, the false prophet, who's going to usurp the throne of Thomas S. Monson, which this was his birthday. Likewise, for Trump, the threat of Nelson, who is going to use Trump and then murder him so that he can get his kingdom back, the Danite kingdom. I mean, the Jews were just, oh my God. And for the signs in the heavens to correspond with this, to correspond with the things on earth. Oh my God. Just is awe-inspiring, just intense. It's just, wow. But there you have the false prophet and the false Christ, the false king. Just incredible. And so, yes, I knew exactly what this meant. The fall. And I was confused at first because I hadn't yet found the receipt that the prophets were actually knowing what was going on. And with Oakes' confession leaked by Sister Jessica, that they are the puppet masters, and that's exactly what they're doing. They're going to murder Trump. And I cannot get through to the people Trump put in charge. Everybody's against him. And I can't stop it. It's out of my control. I've done the warnings. I've seen something. I've said something. And it ain't helping. Trump is doomed. They're all ganging up on him. So it'll be interesting to see what happens today. Just incredible. And so, we done with this yet? Oh, yep, this is the first day and hour of darkness. The Jesus guy pulls the double stunt for his story, in which he's on the cross for darkness for 3 days. And then he's in the tomb of darkness for 3 hours, and then 3 days in the tomb. 3 hours on the cross lifted up, Jesus as God on the cross for the Cairo of Constantine, which is the 8 April 2024, a crossroads. And this is the first day of darkness that forms over the United States of America, the first and last letters of the Paleo-Hebrew alphabet. Not a coincidence. The Jews knew. The one who created the Paleo-Hebrew alphabet, 1500, if not earlier, BCE, was brilliant. Because this gives you his name, the Christ name. It gives you the location in heaven. It shows where on earth the prophecies are to occur and where he's going to come. I mean, this was just incredible. And the day and the hour. Incredible how they knew all this. And so, yes, it's the word in Hebrew for sign, or signs if you include both X's. Isaiah uses sign for the first and the last one. In Genesis and Jeremiah, I miss Jasmine. It's signs, giving you the full date of all 3 solar eclipses, days and hours. So in the Book of Mormon, Samuel, the Lamanite, Sam-El, the god of the name. What is the name? Sun god, Amun. Lamanite, not a Nephite. He's from Southern California. But he comes to Utah, Zarahemla, and is on their internet wall. Repent, Mormons, you're about to die. Kill him. Same pattern, repeated over and over throughout all scriptures. The prophets are me. I am warning you. And Mormons say, murder him. Kill him. Kill the beast. You're the beast. You falsely accused me. Good job. Beam and mode. And so, yeah, I mean, we've also got to go over all of the Salems that are on this as well. Oh my hell. Salem's USA. Because the Knights Templar knew. Both actually knew. That's why the Illuminati infiltrated the Scottish Rites and then did it to Joseph Smith. That's what they do. And so, yeah, there are 7 Salem cities on that path of the sun because they knew. They knew where X would mark the spot. Because then you got another couple for 2024, for 9 for salvation. Shua. But on the 21st, it also passes over Independence, Missouri, and Adam-on-Diamond, both on the outer edges of the shadow. That's why I'm able to go right to Independence in the Urim and Thummim and get the picture that I get. Because it's available. I know. Whereas the Argentina one, I went down a whole bunch, probably a dozen, until I found the one that was very close. And so I'm finished. I found it. That's close enough. It's supposed to be an annular eclipse. The one in February 26th. And so, I mean, that's where we're supposed to go in the Exodus. But the church has to fall. The authority needs to be transferred to me, and then I put out the call for Section 133, and then we all go safely, peace, safety, and refuge to Zion to build it, where you can be free. No Jesus lovers allowed. I mean, dear God, Jesus had nothing to do with any of this. He's been a no-show. He's been taking a piss for all this time. He's got bladder problems. We shouldn't laugh at his bladder problems because it's a serious health problem that I'm sure Robert Kennedy Jr. is on the case for it because he's got worms in his brain. Which worms is in Deuteronomy? Or as I was showing you on the calendar, I did this video for you. But we'll do it again tomorrow, I guess. Because tomorrow is a dual day for the 13th and the 14th because of the eclipse going into 2 days. Oh, man. And so, yeah, all of this has to do with you guys, Mormons. Because the second one, 23rd of August, or 14th of October, 2023, over Utah, in Virgo. Yeah, the first wife. Apparently she was supposed to burn for cheating on me with other men that her father had sent her. And it literally happened. He had remarried, and she had a son, and they were trying to hook him up with my ex. And so she's dating him, and we're not officially divorced yet, as my mom immediately said, well, now that we got rid of her, so that you can be alone as punishment for violating the family proclamation. And she took the kids, because the kids belong with their mother, not their father. Oh my God. Don't even get me started. But yeah, I'm being told you are not allowed to date until the divorce is official. And she's up there dating away, prostituting herself. And so, yeah, the story of Samson, 100% accurate. Incredible. But apparently she was burned. I haven't heard or cared. She published a book on Amazon about how I'm the bad guy and how she's the poor victim who needs to find another man to satisfy her sexual urges. And yes, she was prostituting herself too. God, why didn't anybody warn me in the 86 dream? Oh, they did? Because I didn't finish the story, did I? And so we go in. She goes down the left stairs, down to the pulpit, gets up onto the pulpit and sits in the stand as if she's going to give a talk for something that nobody else is really there. There was one person in the center middle row, and there was another person in the upper right, and then my parents were in wheelchairs in the benches. It's a dream. It can happen that way. Up on the upper left. But as I went down the right stairs and sat in the middle, the other person disappeared, and so did the person in the upper right. And it just disappeared. It's a dream. It happens. If you want to know and understand that, Nephi's dream of the tree of life. She disappears. Oh, there she is. And so security guards come in through the doors that we came in through at the top and immediately yank my parents out of their wheelchairs and drag them back out the door. And so I'm going, oh, time for me to go. So I get up, walk back down the right stairs, and as I'm getting down to the podium level and about to cross over the podium, I see that there's a stairwell down, and I go walking down it, and I try to open the door, but it's locked, and so I don't bother to mess with it. I go back up and go across the pulpit. I see the woman and say, come with me. She gets up and comes with me. We go over to the left, where there's a door behind the curtain, and it's the glass, and it's a typical chapel that I've seen numerous times throughout my life. And it leads outside. And so I open the door, and I'm letting her go first, but then immediately the back door again opens. This time, a witch. Was it a witch first, or was it a guy in a suit? A witch. A witch comes through with the pointed hat. That's stereotypical witch. You know, like in Wizard of Oz or other shows that had witches back in my day. And comes in and then turns into a man in a suit, like a bishop, as prophecy would happen. And he says, "Who dares enter my temple?" It's a church. You don't have authority to be over a temple. Nonetheless, it's a dream. And so the woman is now scared, frozen, and so I help her out of the door, and we go outside, and it's a bright sunny day. All's well in Zion. And then we look up the hill, and there's a side door now, and guards come out, and they see us and they stop where you are. And so I say run, and we go running around the front of the chapel, and this is where I'm arguing with the dream narrator spirit. And in case you've never played D&D, you have a narrator who officiates, the game master or something like that, who's in charge of the game, who's telling you the story as you go along. And then the players play the game, and then he tells you the results of the consequences of the die roll. You're dead. No! My 15th level mage! No! So I'm arguing. No! We go across together, across the street, over the bushes. He's saying, no, it's not going to happen that way. And I'm arguing with him in the dream. I'm asleep, REM sleep. And, and the way it was supposed to be, as I'm forcing it to be the other way, little did I know, you can't argue in a dream. You will not win. The woman refuses to go with me across the street and over the bushes. She goes around the building. I said, don't do it, you're going to get caught. She does it, and she gets caught by the guards who go up that way as I make it over the bushes before they see me. And if you're not going to listen to me, there are consequences. And so, the dream then ends as I'm there at a white-walled building, and there's a love seat that swings, and it's just me. And the rain, it starts to lightly fall. And so whenever it rains, I'm reminded of that as a result. And so, dual prophecy fulfillment with both wives. And so that's why a lot of the characters who are the Christ characters have two wives. It's not because polygamy is the one true harem. It's prophecy of failed marriages. But yes, in the great and abominable church that does practice polygamy and prostitution. So, dualistic prophecy for that too. Just incredible. And we're still not done yet. Oh my God. So let's stop the camera and then we'll start it up again. So we'll let you take a bathroom break. You can just push pause. And so there's an interesting pattern that also occurred. In 2016, which I'm hoping I did tell you guys, is that first was the election, the government election. Then there was the conception of Jupiter in the signs in the heaven. And then there was... No, because Nelson became the president of the 12 in 2015. Okay. And so, and again, Trump becomes president in January, And then the birth is on the 23rd of September 2017, which comes after the solar eclipse. So that pattern of the threat first, then the coming for saving after. And I've been telling you this over the years, that if everything was well in America and in the church, that they weren't wicked, that they weren't corrupt, that they were seeking to destroy them, destroy Mormons, destroy the government, there would be no need for a Savior. Savior is only needed for those who need saving. If there's nobody who needs to be saved, then there's no need for a Savior. It's like Jesus talking about, if the sick are the ones who need a physician. If you're well, you don't need a physician. It's a very simple concept. And so, with the knowledge back on the 4th of November 2016 of the solar eclipse coming, that's when I knew that I needed to find more signs in the heavens, because I knew we were hitting the latter days. And so that's how I was able to find the 23rd of September 2017, is because I knew of Revelation 12, and so knowing the 21st of August as the sign in the heavens of the solar eclipse, I then began there and went day by day looking for Revelation chapter 12, verses 1, 2, and didn't know 5 yet until after Monson died. And then I'm going, okay, so God on his throne, and I found out, okay, it's Ophiuchus and Saturn. Okay, and so I kept going after Monson's death, and I couldn't find it. I didn't, and so it just, my associative memory told me, go back to the 23rd. There it is. And then I go looking at the footnotes, and I see Revelation in the Joseph Smith translation. Oh my God, how humiliating. And so in February in Elko, I'm showing that sign from Revelation. But the couple who invited me were not happy with that. And they told me at the last minute that I should focus more on family stuff. You checked. And now you tell me you disapprove of my books, but said, hey, you want to come to a book signing? Yeah, you'll have to bring your own books, and you'll need to do advertising, you'll need to pay for this, and you'll need to pay for that, but it'll be an awesome experience. Nonetheless, I made it and went. And nobody believed, and everybody treated me as the enemy. Mentally retarded kid they stuck in the back corner. Dear God, they had no idea who they were with. They had no idea of the bigger picture that was going on, but I did. And so you'll see the picture of the laptop. That's the sign. And it's missing Ophiuchus and Saturn, because I didn't know yet until the next year. And so in July 2017, which we need to remember to put that in, I don't think I did the July 17 vid pick. My number one video, July 2017. I cover both 21st of August 2017 and 23rd September 2017. That has been my number one video ever since, because the church panicked and ordered the Mormon who works for YouTube to silence my voice. And it wasn't until 2018, because there was a resurgence during 2018, and it got almost to 40,000. And despite the one person saying he went to the video, it didn't trigger other people to go to it. They are purposely shutting down that video from other people seeing it. Because there are a lot more people that will want to see that video. Because the other guy who did it has a lot of views, but he doesn't have a knowledge of it. He doesn't know the interpretation. He doesn't know Jewish Kabbalah. He doesn't know Knights Templar. He doesn't know Scripture, prophecy, revelation, day, hour, time, dates. Doesn't know any of that stuff. All he knew is that he had a Stellarium program, and he went checking and he found it. Good for you. Anybody could have. Even astronomers. But it's just sad and pathetic that last year there became a couple of people who think they now have found it. It's like, did you never even read it? How is that the same? What are you doing? Stop it! So, on the third day after the new year, and so, well, it's the second day technically, but the third if you count the 20th in the evening, which is also significant for Joseph Smith when he dedicated the temple on the third day of Passover, technically the 4th, if you counted the day before at 6. But anyway, and so this is now the new year for the civil year, not the religious year yet. It wouldn't be until the next year, 2018, in the end of March or April sometime. I'd have to check. But this is blatantly obvious of the date. And yet everybody's in denial because of Matthew 24 saying no man knows the day or the hour, and so they don't even accept this. It's in your Bible. It's the inerrant Word of God, right? And so, yeah, I had a born-again Christian peer in Swickheimer's art class. I can't remember which art it was that I was taking from him that particular year. I think it was my senior year. It was the same class where there was another guy who didn't come every day. He sort of flaked out. He was on the football team, and he bragged one day about how he would rape little girls, and they just all loved to have sex with him, and he loves them and leaves them, and I'm just thinking to myself, this guy is evil. And here I am all by myself, wanting a relationship as a teenager. But the born-again Christian kid, one day I come in and I see him drawing dragons. And they were awesome dragons. I hope he continued and has somehow managed to publish those dragons. They were incredible. And so I asked him, wow, that's incredible. He says, yeah, it's the devil. Oh? Yeah, from Revelation, the devil. You do know that's symbol, right? No, it's literal. It says he's the devil, it's the devil. A dragon. Okay, they're really nice. But anyway, woman clothed with the sun, middle of September and middle of October. Moon under her feet, 29.4 days to go around the earth. So at the most 2, which would be either at the beginning of the middle of September or at the end of the middle of October, in order for it to be 2 times. For the most part, it most likely would be once. Nevertheless, we now know the month. We don't know the year yet. And on her crown, on her head, a crown. Leo is the crown. It is designated with 9 stars. It says 12. It is not the 12 apostles who are the crown of the church. This is a great and abominable church that we're talking about here. And so 3 planets are in Leo. And so, verse 2, she is pregnant. Jupiter. And so that sufficiently was enough for me to know the 23rd of September 2017. I was able to find it. Going forward in my Urim and Thummim from 21st of August 2017. And I found it. And I did videos, I published books, and book signing. The mentally retarded kid signing books. But I didn't sign any of them. The one guy who's from the lesser priesthood, he asked me to sign them. As well as he was the only one who paid. So yeah, dear God. You know, he never came back to inquire more about Paleo-Hebrew. I think he was just being kind because he was rich, because he's doing DNA stuff. You get paid a lot of money in that field, I guess. But it's what allowed me to break even for the debt that I incurred that month. Oh my hell. Yeah, that would have not been good if I had not gotten that money from him. But anyway. And so, when you include verse 5 with Saturn and Ophiuchus, yeah, then it's obvious that Mercury, Venus, and Mars are in Leo. But I was able to find out that it was them in Leo anyway. And so I was using the wrong, incomplete picture until I finally found the others in 2018. And so I did another version of it, and nobody watched it because the church had ordered me to be shut down and silenced from other people. Because that one video in July shows that I'm the man like Moses, a seer, a prophet, a revelator, and a translator, all rolled up into the one video. Where are those 40,000 now who got born witness testimony from him? From me? Where are they? You know, YouTube keeps giving me ghost subscriber numbers because of AI. Accurate counting used in the presidential election for 2024. And you know that was a scam election, because the very next day after Trump winning, it was the stock for AI that took off. Everybody was buying AI after Trump won the AI election. If it weren't any more obvious. Dear God, follow the money, people. Nothing we can do. Total eclipse of the heart. Which is another one that we could have done for the theme song in the description below, rather than pie with the family. Maybe we'll do both. Because I really like that song. And so, after this, oh, wait, the 23rd was a Saturday. Yeah, I almost forgot. This was when the Relief Society still held their pre-conference show. They were not allowed to be a part of conference yet until then. Monson, before he died, said women will now be a part of General Conference, even though it's the week before conference. And so that 23rd of September 2017, with the brand new Relief Society president called from the April conference, who was the primary president, now is the Women's Relief Society president. Children's president to Relief Society president. The woman gives birth. Virgin becomes woman. The church was fulfilling it, and I don't think they knew about it. The church is the woman giving birth on the 23rd of September 2017. It's all about Mormons. Mormons still will not believe. They will not listen to this video all this way to learn it's all about Mormons. Everything is about Mormons, and they will not listen because they don't accept my authority. They want the church to be true. They have to force the authority to make it fit in their little faith bubbles. And it just is a losing battle that they will not understand. And so, dear God. And so just like in a abandoned wife who gives birth to rape baby Jesus, the great and abominable church, raping Mormon women, the church, to give birth to rape baby me, Jupiter. Dear God, how sad and pathetic. How awesome those Jews were to know of all of this. All right. So, then, verse 3, and there appeared another wonder in heaven. Behold, a great red dragon, having 7 heads, 10 horns, 7 crowns upon his head. Corona Borealis. That one was easy to find. I heard from the other guy, he was looking for the next one, and he still couldn't find it. Found it! Me! I found it! I don't even have it up on the screen. Oh my God. 17th of December. Oh, whoops. I see on my screen here for the calendar that I made, that I almost forgot to put him in. Robert D. Hales dies October 1st. right before conference, on the wedding anniversary, as she's about to leave me, because she couldn't make it to watch with me the total solar eclipse. The marriage was over by then, and it just dragged on into January the next year. But yeah, the whole church was putting pressure on her. Her sister was putting pressure on her, and her family was putting pressure on her, and the apartment was notified by the Strengthening Church Members Committee, and the bishop was notified by the Strengthening Church Members Committee. Everybody was trying to get her away from me so that I then could be attacked. She was my shield and protection to me against the power of the destroyer until I had finished my work for the latter days. And they got rid of her before the latter days officially began. So I've been abandoned this whole latter days. She betrayed me to the Philistines and cut my hair. Literally. And so, yeah, that was the anniversary that never got celebrated. And so Robert D. Hales dies. And I find out later that day, as for some reason I was up in the middle of the night at 1, maybe even 12, and I'm searching YouTube, and I find the news story of Las Vegas, of the shooting that happened in the pit of the altar before the Pyramid Hotel. I'm going, what? Is this real? And I've told you guys, done the videos even, of how I'm watching Las Vegas News. It's official Las Vegas News. It's not some fake channel claiming to be Las Vegas News. No, it's Las Vegas News. And they're making blunders in the news. You're not supposed to call somebody the shooter. You're supposed to say the accused, or some other word that lets you know he's innocent until proven guilty. And they're already knowing exactly where he is, who he is, and what he's done. And I'm just like, no, this is not right. Is this some kind of a show? This is news. This is Las Vegas news. And Google searching, is this a legitimate news in Las Vegas? Yes, okay, I don't understand. What are they doing? This is not professional journalism. This is not professional investigation. This is not professional reporting. You can get sued. Like Fox. But nonetheless, and I'm trying to find coverage of the shooting with heads being blown off, bodies falling to the ground, mutilated by bullets, and I'm not finding it. All I'm seeing is people ducking for cover and then being escorted out. I am not seeing casualties. And then later, I then see the news showing people getting wheeled into the emergency room very, very slowly. What the hell? Even TV shows know how to rush them into the emergency room. Nothing was going right for this coverage. I wasn't believing this. And so then they were interviewing one guy at the scene, said that he witnessed his buddy getting his head blown off and his chest blown out. And I'm going, what the heck? He's obviously over-exaggerating here. later in the day, the same news said, "We have found your buddy in the hospital and we're reuniting you with him." Oh, wow, man, dude, bro. The guy is in a bed, a hospital bed. And he has a big old gauze in a square just sitting on his chest. It's not taped. It's not bleeding. This is not true. That was the final straw. None of that was real. I couldn't believe the news would pull that kind of a stunt. And yet, I'm hearing for up to a week later that even Southern Utahns, Mormons, are claiming that they're going to a funeral for their loved ones who were lost on that day. I'm going, there was nobody dead. I didn't see it. The news didn't cover it. The news was putting on a show. I am not believing any of this. And then I'm hearing other people talk about this crisis acting group calling for auditions the week before. And then the real news was coming out and saying, this is all fake. They're trying to ruin the... But they do have that. They do have people doing casting calls for crisis actors. And Fox News was all over that for other stuff. But, I mean, dear God, when you can't trust real legitimate news, that's a sad state of America. If Americans can't have trust in communication from the government, from religion, from the news, from people in positions of power or trust, the nation is doomed. Civilization is doomed. And that's what everybody's doing it for, is to destroy the nation so that nobody can trust what they hear from anybody. Nobody will know how to know what to learn for truth because they don't read your Book of Mormon or the Bible. And it's just complete and utter chaos. And so on the same night, sure enough, Hales dies that morning as well. And so the Las Vegas news sort of drowned out the death of Robert D. Hales for most people. It was just a passing thing. And so in conference, we get a new apostle along with the changeover of the new president as a result. Because they didn't call somebody new after Hales, because that was probably going to get flagged for suspicious use of the internet. I don't think it would have been Friday, because that was when we got married. Because if it was before, but Monson was on his deathbed. Yeah, not allowing me to go straight into anything. Come on, let's get it over with. Quit fooling around with me. I'm not gonna do it anyway. I'm gonna start typing and then it's gonna appear. You didn't pop up. That's strange. You're gonna try to push a AI on me on this one? Robert D. Hales was 42 years old? I don't think so. Between conference, it was that conference weekend. Okay, so yeah, it would have been Sunday morning then, wasn't it? And that's why they didn't replace him for conferences, because he died during conference. So time and date. We can confirm this. 2017. Keep up with me. I know I'm still a fast typer, but I'm not as fast as I used to be. Speaking of phallus symbols, there's a Far Side calendar. Let's see if I can pull this up to be bigger. Your wildest birthday wish is about to come true. It's an elderly woman on a scale. A fortune-telling scale with a shadow next to her. Are you sure that's appropriate for timeanddate.com? Etsy. Naughty boys. It's like the Far Side thing, but. October 1st was Sunday, yeah. And that's why they waited until April conference to do the replacement. Well, that's right. Just unbelievable what was going on then. Unbelievable. No, women, I am not gonna put it in this video for you. Get your mind out of the gutter, porn gutter of evil and ill-putrescence. Shame on you all. Alright, so, the last and final one. As there was only the 170 who talked about an eclipse. I had sent a letter to the 70, presidency of the 70, letting them know, hey, signs in the heavens, it means the church is going to fall. And so they changed Wikipedia. Hypothetically, if all the apostles are gone, the presidency of the 70 takes over the whole church. No. You fell for that, did you? That's why the attention given to me in those early years before I sued the church. They've always been stalking me. Ever since 1998, they've been keeping a close eye on me, making sure I don't go against the church. And I did with my Adam Fell video in 2017. Strengthening Church Members Committee found a reason to come after me. That's going against the prophets of the Book of Mormon. What? I'm in the middle of a divorce again, as everybody wants me dead and out of the building so that they can turn it into a mental home. That's why they got rid of me. Just unbelievable. The evil of people. And so yeah, if you look on the maps, it shows that the building is a government building. Huh? I don't think I've ever taken down my Google business for that location. But it's all a nightmare. I mean, I've still got the signed, dated confession by the property manager, who told me, we're letting you go for 2020, but we're coming to get you in 2021. And sure enough, they did. They had to fire her, replace her with somebody else who failed, then replace him with someone else. The church does not like losers. When they hire a hitman, they expect a job to be done. So the final one, Revelation chapter 3, 17th December 2017, that I already read to you, is from Revelation chapter 3, 5th dark day of Hanukkah. And we didn't pull up the picture for it yet. 17 December 2017. Here we go. It's all exactly as it said. The celestial bodies needed at the tail to make the total number that it said it had are there on that day. It is the 5th dark day of Hanukkah because that's when the moon is new and thus dark. And it's during the December time for Hanukkah as a dark, dark moon. I think we had one last year, specifically, a pitch black moon for the 5th dark day of Hanukkah, if I remember those videos. And so you've got Mercury, Venus, Saturn, also there in conjunction. I don't see anything else. And so, guess who's at the top of the scales of Libra, the judgment? Mormon's true leader of the church. And there's Mars getting trampled under the foot of the church. But on this day, I would find out later, Monson is on his deathbed. He is unable to function. His diabetes and his dementia is too bad he can't come to work anymore. He's at home permanently with a nurse at his side. He is about to die. And yet, Nelson, as the president of the Quorum of the 12, takes over the leadership of the church early. He's not allowed to. They themselves say they're not allowed to. There's a reason why they wait until the president is dead and then go through the ceremony of putting in the president of the 12. That no business is to be conducted without the authority of the president of the church. And yet, Nelson did it. Using Monson's stamp of approval. You have to understand, Trump, during this time, also is demanding the financial bill to get passed before 2018. And Orrin Hatch is on the case. But first, the church on this date changed church policy and procedure to allow 11-year-old girls in the temple and to be over baptisms. Along with 11-year-old boys too, but... And so that's why I've been telling you about deacons passing the sacrament at 11 years old. I don't know if it happened. I'm out of the church. It's supposed to have been done because Nelson made that change. And so when I talk about polygamy that he changes in 2019 for the law of chastity, he's speaking in the context of 11-year-old girls now. This is the great and abominable church. It's what they do. And Mormons are going, no. No. We're the one true church. Jesus. You're in for a rude awakening if they win and get their kingdom back. Because not only are you going to have to be a tithe payer to stay in Utah, but you also have to be a word of wisdom follower, which is not just coffee, tea, and tobacco. It's also physical exercise. No fatties allowed. And so thus they can get rid of the homeless, they can get rid of the apostates, and they can get rid of the obese and those who are mentally retarded, all together as one. Get out. This is Zion now. The chosen ones. That was Cook from that audio. I still have yet to do that video for her. I told you about it. And so then we end, as we also got to remember to put in Hatch v. Brown, sorry, it's Brown. Senator Hatch and Senator Brown. Senator Brown picks a fight with Hatch, who's the leader of this committee going over the bill. And Brown calls him out and said, this isn't helping the poor. This does nothing for the poor. This helps LLCs and corporations. You know, like the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, who we'd come to find out in May of 2018, sure enough, had a number of LLC corporations funded for the laundering of foreign money of $32 billion into those LLC companies that then laundered them into the stock market. That bill made sure that corporations and LLC companies don't have to report where they're getting the money from. And a major city yet to be determined in Russia. Oh my God, it's almost 2 o'clock. I may not get this video up today. Oh my hell. Whew, so, unbelievable. This is going on 3 hours. I told you this was massive. And so, yeah, they're going back at it. Hatch says, I was born poor. I was born among the poor people. The lower middle class, I mean. It was for the church. And the church had made sure that Trump was the one who took the fall for it, and that it was supposed to be for Trump. No. When there's a Mormon involved, it ain't for government. Ain't for government. It's for the church. Do not be fooled. Dear God, how could you be so fooled? I mean, Senator Lee, with all of his desires for laws, Yeah, from the church. The church. He's doing it for the church. And nobody in government cares about Lee. I don't think he's been able to get anything approved in Congress while he's working there. Nobody likes him, nobody listens to him. Although there was the one State of the Union where the Arizona senator who dresses interestingly, it's an interesting fashion choice, and she's now gone, but because she wasn't able to be MAGA enough. But yeah, she was doing both Lee and Romney. Romney was able to get her also when the church was able to pull the con on the religious Protect Marriage Act, whatever, Strengthening Marriage Act, whatever it's called. Because Romney inserted the church's exclusion clause for religion, and he was able to get the Arizona woman and some other Republicans to side with that bill to get it to pass. And so it pretty much was a null and void issue. If religion can choose to disregard the law, it's a worthless law. And yet all LGBTQIAPO+ were cheering, yay, we're finally free. And now what, guys? You no longer exist. You're back to male or female again, unless you did an actual physical sex change. How's that working out for you? Dear God, why do you hate your body so much? Why do you hate yourself so much? How could you be fooled by a psychologist? I warned you, I told you about Nazi Germany. Do not repeat history, and you repeated history, and here you are. And it's going to get worse. They got the Supreme Court going over the conversion therapy law. Is it to be banned, or is it coming back? Dear God. Because you got alt-right, white supremacist Christian nationalists on the Supreme Court. They want to electrocute you. So, anyway, dear God. So yeah, the fifth dark day of Hanukkah and the finishing off of 2017. Yeah, this is going to be forever when I finally finish. So we'll check. It's time for the let's cover it, even though you're probably not listening to it. And if I do have a picture for you, I'll be putting it in. And I won't know yet until tonight as to what was the cause of the sell-off today, if there was a sell-off today. So let's find out. It's not a big fall, but it is still a fall. The NASDAQ went up pretty good, but yeah, it's another day, 82.5. It should still readjust because it's not quite finished. There's usually some after sales after the bell rings. I saw something move down there at VIX. So yeah, it looks like it's for the most part finished. I'm not seeing any further changes. So yeah, it still dropped, but they cooled off because of Trump's cooling off after lighting things on fire yesterday. So pay attention. We still have tomorrow and Friday.